Hey guys, so back with another video game review. I did end up being able to beat this one actually this morning. My son happily or unhappily decided to wake me up at 3 this morning. I ended up getting him back to sleep. I never did, so I came down here and played. What I ended up finishing was Warhammer 40K Space Marine. Now, this is a game that I've been wanting to play for quite a while since I've come to know of its existence. And um, I can honestly say it was a lot of fun, very enjoyable. The gameplay was very comfortable. You end up pretty much, shooting and hacking, slashing enemies to death. And that's pretty much on the surface, pretty much all you do for the entire game. But there are many, like the orcs that you fight, there are many layers, and you get to see them all. And each layer makes it more and more fun. So, a little Shrek humor there, but um, as you go through the game, it seems very simple: point, shoot, hack, slash. That's all you do. You're running around like you're in Gears of War, seeing some of the storyline that actually resembles a lot of Halo. Funny enough, um, you do jump out of a spaceship onto another. You do have to fight multiple enemies. You do have like a betrayal of a friend, and then you later on have to fight a different enemy that is completely different uh, from the enemy you first start off with. So, just a lot of fun. There was definitely some like nods and hints and all that stuff of both Gears of War and Halo throughout this game, and I was seeing quite a bit of it. But this game, one of the things I liked about it was the weapon, I guess dynamic, if that's the right word. The way you use weapons. One of the things is yes, you are given most of your weapons pretty quickly. You go through the first 3 levels, you end up getting all the weapons you're going to use for the entire game. Pretty normal. But they did, they did make it so each weapon that you choose to use has an effect on how easily or how slowly you take out an enemy. So you literally have to learn, okay, this works on this guy, these work on these guys. And you do have multiple different enemies. You have the stand up, or standard orcs with the axes. They run up, you take out your chainsaw sword or one of their melee weapons. You get a axe and hammer later, and I really do love that hammer. But you run up and you take them out with that. But in even that, choosing which you use, whether it's the chainsaw, whether it's the axe, or whether it's the hammer, later on becomes a choice because you have to pretty much read the room. You have to see what enemies are going to be popping up, and you realize that if you use the hammer, you only get 2 other weapons. You get a machine gun and you get a pistol, and that's all you got to use because you're carrying around this massive hammer that is in one of your hands at all times. You can't store it. And then with the axe, it has a bit of a shorter range, so you've got to know which ones to use for that. The chainsaw sword has longer range, but it has a weaker attack. So it literally gives you each. I would have loved to see like a stat point of like range, distance, uh, who has the most effect on, and all that. Um, but unfortunately, they didn't do that. So same thing with the guns. With the 2 types of enemies, one being the orcs, the other one being the chaos spawn. Um, you never, they don't warn you of when it's going to change. They don't warn you that the weapons now change. So if you get familiar with, let's say, the sniper rifle, you get familiar with the machine gun, you get familiar with the pistol, and, the axe. You then go into the second part of the game will not do as well, and you're wondering why you're dying more. So literally when you go in, when you're about to get into a major battle, they give you a wide a range of weapons. And you have to sit there and choose and second guess what's going to be the most effective against these enemies, which you have not even seen yet. That's why when you go into the room, you die for the first time. Then you start going, okay, this gun didn't seem to have any effect. This one did. So I'll trade this one, the one that didn't have any effect, for another, and I'll see what the axe does instead of the sword, and then you go back and forth and you try to learn how to do it, and eventually you do get up to speed with that enemy type. But they constantly make you switch weapons and all that, which is nice because you literally try everything in the game instead of just giving that loadout that you love and everything else just a waste because you never use it. So they literally make you use everything in the game, and some don't come with you have to read the instructions for the guns because, like the grenade launcher, I did not, I was shooting and wondering why the grenades weren't exploding, and I was dying quite a bit, and then I went back to where you first get that gun, and it actually says you have to hit the right RB or R button to get the grenades to explode, and you just go do do do, and if you shoot 5 times, you push that RB button, and it's like grenades that later on explode when you want them to, and that was a bit interesting. But for the most part, that is actually works in its favor because it gives you a lot of loadouts. It gives you a lot of interesting things. There are also different levels. Diversity was a big thing, and you do see Gears of War, doing this Halo as well, where you're using a rail gun on a transport vehicle, and you're shooting down enemies who are flying and trying to attack your vehicle, or shooting the orcs as they fly and try to take out other ally ships, and you have to shoot, and then you do have to have like cooldown time and all that. So it definitely reminds me of certain aspects of those other games. And it just makes it a lot of fun. This game could be very, repetitive. It could be very boring, and it chooses just the right moment to give you that different change, that like different aspect, that different amount of fun to keep it exciting, to keep it enjoyable. So, and then definitely in like the last part of the game, you do catch like a very much Gears of War, push this button at this time, push that button at this time. So memorization of the buttons and actually the attacks that it does against the main character or the main villain is, also there. So it did kind of remind me of Gears of War just a little. Is this game worth playing? For me, yes. Like I said, it is a lot of fun. I love the aspect of just being a hack and slash game with a tactical. It's like hack and slash with a tactical background, and it makes you think about it. Makes you think about your loadout, your weapons, and all that stuff. So that's really enjoyable. The history of the Ultra Space Marines, the Chaos characters, very nicely. The Inquisitors, very nicely told. Very nice. The culture is very much there. The levels are absolutely beautiful. The enemies are funny. I can't tell you how many times I heard an orc says, "Go ahead and shoot me again." and you do it, and I was almost expecting a thank you. Shoot me again. Thank you. And just kind of that. But they had one. It's gonna take a lot. Probably one of my favorite lines was, "It's gonna take a lot more than that to kill an orc." And then you shoot them the next time, and it's like they're dead. You're like, well, not very much. And it just very humorous, very funny. But there are the only thing that I found rather annoying is, every now and then they're uh, the way they say things got repetitive. So when you had a orc jump in, he'd go, "War!" He'd give that battle cry. And it was like, at one point you had 10 jumping in, and it's like, "War, war, war," and it went on forever. And it's just like, you're at that point, you're just shooting and hacking just to make them stop. And there was some enemies that glitched out, that you like have running into a wall, and you're just kind of like looking at them, and then you just go over there and shoot them in the back, and they die. But it was like, why was that guy running into a wall? But again, it did have some humor. It had some fun. The ending's not your typical ending. I don't want to spoil too much if you've never played it, but it's kind of a weird ending. Very much truthful to the gameplay, the lore, and the way of thinking of the Ultramarines and the Chaos Agents and all that, and how much it's almost very much a religious organization, and they have some very stupid rules, much like the different religions, and they make you live by those rules. And of course, at the end, it may not always turn out to be your favor. You may have done a good thing, but you did it in the wrong way, and they're going to punish you for it. Very frustrating. But still a very fun and enjoyable game. So, well, guys, that is it for Warhammer 40K Space Marines. Definitely a game worth picking up. You can pick this game up. It's going to cost you about $26, 20 or 30, especially on eBay and pretty much everywhere else. I'm noticing that whatever price charting says, it's usually like $5 to $10 over that they're usually charging in the stores, eBay, and other stores, probably trying to get that extra little money for themselves. So, but definitely worth picking it up. Pretty easy to find. I would just go to eBay and try to buy it. So, definitely worth it. So, well, guys, that is it. If you like this review, please hit that like button. If you want to, please subscribe. I made it through. Hopefully I didn't stumble and bumble and too much. I didn't sound like a Madden game. Now I know I'm tired. I'm using weird references to explain different things. I'm sorry. But I will let you guys go. You have a good night. I will be doing a video game haul. Not that there's much to review right now, but I will be doing a video game haul tomorrow, which I will announce the next game that we'll be playing. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.